Hello, YouTube viewers and Transformers fans of all ages. This is the TFN Geek coming to you with what will hopefully be a quick and successful video. And today we have a figure spotlight video, and it is none other than the Autobot Headmaster Brainstorm with Headmaster partner Arcana. So before talking about Brainstorm himself, Arcana was the name of Brainstorm's Headmaster partner in the Generation 1 toy line, but oddly enough, both of the Headmaster robots on these two modern-day toys of Brainstorm, neither of them are named Arcana. The Headmaster on the Voyager class Brainstorm is actually unnamed, and if you find a photo of Brainstorm's box, it just says Head Converts to Robot. So yeah, this Voyager class Brainstorm's Headmaster is actually unnamed, and then on Titan's Return Deluxe class Brainstorm, his Headmaster robot was given the name of Teslor, so apparently Hasbro wasn't able to get a registered trademark to Arcana's original name, so it is a tad unfortunate. Now, Voyager... sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because it's late at night. I'm trying to hurry and get to this video, but on Voyager class Brainstorm, he was released in 2014, and a lot of Transformers fans were hoping that the release of a new toy of Brainstorm, that it would hopefully usher in a new release of modern-day toys of the Transformers Generation 1 Headmasters. That unfortunately did not come until 2 years later in 2016 when the Titans Return toy line was released, and a lot of Transformers fans were upset when it was announced that Titans Return Brainstorm was going to be the first ever Transformers toy released exclusively through Walgreens pharmacies, and starting with Brainstorm and all the Walgreens pharmacy exclusive Transformers toys released since then, Walgreens has released their Transformers exclusive toys at the same time of year, and basically it isn't until sometime around between Halloween and Veterans Day, when between October and November, when the exclusive Transformers toys are released at Walgreens. And what that did is the last Walgreens exclusive Transformers toy, which was Power of the Prime's Wreck-Gar, because Wreck-Gar wasn't released until late October, early November, he became the last toy in the Power of the Prime's toy line to ever be released, and a lot of Transformers fans have been kind of disappointed that Walgreens has chosen the same time of the year, which is towards the end of autumn, to release their exclusive Transformers toys, but me personally, I can live with it. Now, one thing that both of my individual copies of Brainstorm have is they actually have two parts that are supposed to be mirror images of each other. Instead, I actually got two duplicates of the same part. So here on Voyager class Brainstorm, I don't know how well it'll show up to you on camera, but if you look closely on this side of Brainstorm's blaster is right there. You can see the spot where the plastic molding was taken out, and there's also numbers on the wings. So actually, Brainstorm's blasters are actually two of the same side, even though they're supposed to be mirror images of each other. I saw some video reviews back in 2014 when Brainstorm was released that the blasters were in fact mirror images, not two duplicates of the exact same one, so that is a tad unfortunate that it happened with my copy of Brainstorm, but it still works nonetheless. Now, in the original Generation 1 Brainstorm toy, and it also carried into the Generation 1 cartoon, but Brainstorm actually had his cannons sticking out of his back like this, so it looked like he had two shoulder cannons. And for me personally, it kind of always made Brainstorm look like an Autobot version of Bruticus. And that was the impression I got when I first saw Brainstorm in the Generation 1 cartoon, which is known as The Rebirth, which was the 4th season. Now, as far as Brainstorm's appearance in The Rebirth, Brainstorm is remembered for being the one who suggested the use of master technology, Transformers being partnered with smaller robots originally, but it was actually organic life forms in The Rebirth. But yes, Brainstorm was the character who suggested the use of Headmasters, Target Masters, and so on and so forth. But oddly enough, in the Generation 1 cartoon, Brainstorm, instead of having a light blue or light turquoise like the Titans Return Brainstorm. He actually had a slightly darker turquoise color, so out of all the Autobot Headmasters, Brainstorm was the one whose paint job in the Rebirth, it was the one that was most drastically different compared to the Generation 1 action figure. Someone's logged on here. Oh, Goji Galvi. Sorry for not noticing you earlier. One of my all-time favorite characters. Yes, I agree. Brainstorm has become a favorite amongst Transformers fans. Now, in case anyone was wondering, I do like to put Brainstorm's other blaster, which forms the entire nose of his jet, on his back to give him the Generation 1 look. It's just friction-based. It falls off at a moment's notice. And I kind of wish Hasbro would have designed at least one peg that would have allowed Transformers fans to do that, because when Brainstorm holds his jet nose blaster in hand, it looks ridiculously big. Now, I said a moment ago that both toys of Brainstorm, they have two parts that are officially supposed to be mirror images, but I actually got two duplicates of the same part. On Voyager class Brainstorm, it was his laser guns, but here on Titans Return Brainstorm, the two parts that are supposed to be mirror images, which I accidentally got the same part, are actually on the Headmaster / Titan Master's individual robot arms. So Tesla, or Arcana as he was known in the Generation 1 toy line, here on Titans, the Titans Return version, I actually got two left arms on him. So this arm right here that I'm tapping with my finger is the same arm as this one. So in actuality, if you were to wear his arms correctly, this is how my copy of Tesla actually is. It is unfortunate, but unfortunately, by the time when I noticed that, I didn't have enough money to buy a new copy of Brainstorm, and today Brainstorm is going for aftermarket prices, so to buy a second copy of Brainstorm just to replace a Titan Master arm, I've actually almost been tempted to buy a duplicate of Blur's Titan Master and then just switching the arms out. But to be honest, I don't actually keep Brainstorm transformed in his robot mode, but I don't have enough shelving space for him, so it isn't really much of an issue, but for people who are OCD, it can be an issue, and so unfortunately, both my toys of Brainstorm, they are some of the Transformers toys where I've had the QC issue of having an incorrect part attached to them. And take a look here, see what Goji Galvi's saying. Titans Return Brainstorm is special to me. He is great. So yes, Goji Galvi's saying that Titans Return Brainstorm has been one of his favorite characters, and Brainstorm, and yeah, hopefully Brainstorm will shine in the future. So to transform these toys, it is slightly easy if you know it. Oh, but before we actually transform Voyager class Brainstorm, he does have one gimmick. I don't know how well it's going to show on camera for you, but he has one gimmick where you push this button on his chest, it flaps out some power specs like the Generation 1 Headmaster, so that was really cool. And I found out some interesting bit of trivia that apparently when designing Voyager class Brainstorm, apparently Brainstorm wasn't originally going to be a Headmaster, but one of the toy designers at Hasbro had a kid who was collecting Transformers toys, and they pointed out that since Brainstorm was a Headmaster in the Generation 1 toy line, why can't he be a Headmaster on this new Voyager class toy? So they made him a Headmaster. So I can't say with certainty, but apparently in 2014, 2 years before the Titans Return toy line was launched, Hasbro had no interest in releasing Headmaster Transformers toys, so I'm really glad that just 2 years later in 2016, they decided to not only revitalize interest in Headmasters, but release an entire toy line of Headmasters, granted under a different name, but it worked out. So the most difficult part of Voyager class Brainstorm is getting his legs past his nose cone. And then the other difficult part is getting his arms to peg into his legs properly to have his vehicle mode stabilized. Make sure everything's lined up. Flip the tech specs back up. Down. I'm trying to flip out his forward landing gear, but on my copy it's really stiff, so I'm not even going to try. But there's Voyager class Brainstorm in his alt mode. Really cool looking Cybertronian jet. And stand it up for you just so you can see it better. And there, as you can see, was that what I said earlier about this laser gun falling off because it's only friction keeping it there in place. So that's really the only gripe I have with Titan's Return Brainstorm is Hasbro didn't allow the two blasters to be sticking out of the back like the Voyager class one. So as I drop Brainstorm and he makes a thud on my laptop's keyboard, one thing I like about Brainstorm that some Transformers fans don't is the fact that he's mold mates with Titan's Return Blur and also Chrome Dome and Breakaway. Me personally, I don't mind because it means that there's less new parts of him to memorize when you're transforming him. Now, I apologize for not going over the robot mode articulation, but it's pretty basic. Basic for both figures. So there's Titan's Return Brainstorm in his world, in his vehicle mode. Place his robot mode laser gun down there. Now for the Titan Master Tesla. What you do is you want to get him in a sitting down position like this. Then you can put him in, and he does lock firmly in place, but it is a bit little tricky getting him to sit properly. But yeah, it is doable. So there are both versions of Brainstorm in their alternate modes of Cybertronian jets, and I gotta say, for what they are impressive looking. A third-party company several years ago did a toy of Brainstorm, and they made it look like the X-Wing fighter from Star Wars, so a lot of Transformers fans have associated Brainstorm's alt mode as being a stereotypical 1980s single one-man spaceship, a ship or starfighter. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And in the 1980s, single pilot starfighter spaceships, they were a lot more common in toy lines than they are today. And so looking back on it, I personally think a lot of people in the 1980s believed that within the next 50 years that space technology would advance enough that single pilot spaceships such as the X-Wing fighter would end up becoming reality. Who knows, maybe it might in 500 years, but for now, it's still in the realm of science fiction. But yeah, Brainstorm is pretty impressive. Now, before anyone asks, no, I am not going to do any more Headmaster Transformers in my Figure Spotlight video series, because for my Figure Spotlight series, I'm focusing on Transformers characters, which I have multiple toys of, and Brainstorm's the only Headmaster, which I have 2 toys of in my collection. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all there is to say. Both toys are Brainstorm. They look amazing in their own right. As far as which one is the more G1 accurate looking, I am inclined to say that the Voyager class Brainstorm looks more closer to the Generation 1 toy, but Titan's Return Brainstorm, he is size accurate, not only compared to his fellow Headmasters in the Titan's Return toy line, but Transformers toys in general. So do I recommend both toys? Absolutely. Do I recommend getting either one of them if you don't have the other? I do recommend getting Titan's Return Brainstorm if you already have the Voyager one, but if you have the Titan's Return Brainstorm, then in my opinion, the Voyager class Brainstorm, it's not really a must-have toy if you have Titan's Return Brainstorm, but when all said and done, Brainstorm, he does get you brainstorming about how interesting of a character he is. So yes, this is going to be my wrap-up, so thank you so much for watching. Please comment and subscribe. And I almost forgot, I apologize. Shout out to Ninja Bill 1000. I promised him that I give him a special shout out in my next video, because he, in his last video, he gave me a recommendation to his viewers to come by my channel and watch my video. So thank you, Ninja Bill. I apologize for not giving you a shout out at the beginning of the video, but yes, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Goji Galvi, for tuning in, and hope you have a good evening. And this has been the TF Angie. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day.